Korean speaking, Keen bilingual, and the bot side of the lineup English speaking. And we will see how this lineup goes. And we are now into the picks and bans here for Team Dignitas' first match of the LCS. Of course, Phoenix1 again do come in with a match win, but this series 0-0 to start. Camille, no surprise, I'd ban against Someday even on blue side at this point. Syndra, Lee Sin off the table trying to pinch down onto a Nori, and so far Team Dignitas inviting maybe let us play Rengar. Chase might like to play the champion.
I mean, the question is, does P1 just kind of go the tried and true Rengar, Camille, LeBlanc bans? I do like when we do see innovation in this, and this is something where Phoenix1 yesterday left it all up, and this is what they're going to do now here. They're going to try to force their opponents to ban out one of those. If they ban one, they will ban the other. If they do not ban one, they will leave both open and they will do a trade. So this is what Phoenix1 prepared yesterday, and it worked great against Echo Fox, and I do love the variation.
Yep, specifically Phoenix1 traded, you take LeBlanc, we'll take Rengar, and you see Team Dignitas, we're not going to bite on that just yet. We will ban the LeBlanc, and Phoenix1 can say, you're right, Rengar's too scary. That's the believed first pickable best jungler in the game. That's everyone's minds right now. Or they say, you know what, take it. We'll set up the other roles like ban Misfortune, take Zyra, you know, things like this where you can create power picks. Exactly,
that is an option. I think if you are going to leave the Rengar open, you can do something. Okay, so Varus ban. So they may be trying to get an early pinch on the AD carry role. We'll see where they're going to go here, but there's a lot of power picks available. We still have, you know, things like the Rengar, the Ashe, the Zyra, Ryze has been popular in some regions as well. So I'm very excited to see where they're going to go. This is a permutation of the pick ban we have not yet seen.
Sure, of course. And in fact, it's not even gonna. Okay, he hovered for a second. Someday, I was like, "You're NALCS debut. NALCS debut better not be Maokai." And it's not just yet. Rengar is the first pick in for Chaser. That's going to be a fun one to watch for. I guess we might see top Rengar. There's always a chance, though I doubt it very highly. And power pick wise, you'd expect to see Ashe, Zyra as the next ones up, but Phoenix1. It's up to them to decide what really is important for them.
And it's also tough, you know, with MF still on the board, they didn't ban that out. Do they want to go that route? The Varus ban to me is interesting because it kind of does say you want to pinch out the champion pool, but Jhin is still available. They may feel that the Ashe-Jhin matchup is pretty favorable, but they could go for another support. They could go top lane, mid lane, other kind of options, and make Dignitas react later in the draft.
Yeah, of course, keep in mind Phoenix1 gets last dibs on champions here, so they can wait on Zyra MF. If you go Zyra, we take Misfortune, we take neither, we take Zyra, then ban Misfortune, so it's actually even more advantageous to wait on that pick. So, you know, Phoenix1, of course, knowing better than I do, and Ryze will be the pickup here, which means you would expect, tier list-wise, to see Cassiopeia as the matchup against it.
Yeah, certainly, and I do think that Maokai has been the clear kind of S-tier top lane so far across the competitive regions. We have been seeing it getting picked time and time again. I do feel that it outscales pretty heavily as far as its other tank counterparts like the Nautilus and even like the Poppy at this point.
And it's going to be the Maokai, of course, locked in. So someday we'll make his NALCS debut on a tank, but we know Maokai can definitely carry games if he does it right. And yes, there was the Cassiopeia as well for Keen. So Team Dignitas have locked in the top 3 champions of the map. Phoenix1, is it going to be the Zyra into support bans pinch, or they have something else in mind here?
Yeah, they definitely have that option now because there are no more picks in this phase for Dignitas. We're going into the ban phase after this. They decide to go for Kha'Zix, and we'll see if they do lock that in. It's going to be the Kha'Zix, okay.
So the highest profile jungler left open with Lee Sin off the table. The top 3 tend to be Rengar, and then it's kind of up to you among Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, and maybe Rek'Sai. Seems to be everyone's sort of A tier that's right behind it. And Kha'Zix, of course, on the table, and it means that Nori 3 games in a row is playing Assassins in the jungle. It's fun to see players who are so confident, so aggressive, and find fun things to do. Unless I'm misremembering a game, I'm pretty sure it was Rengar and Kha'Zix for his first 2 games against Echo Fox. First ban comes through, actually Phoenix1 banning the Zyra, not allowing Team Dignitas to grab that for themselves, even though P1 does have dibs on the first pick in the second phase.
So it looks like Dignitas is going to try to pinch out the top lane champion pool. Already Camille and Fiora were removed by P1. Now the Shen ban on the table. They may just be trying to put him into this kind of, you know, Nautilus versus Maokai matchup where there's not any big difference between the 2 champions, but Maokai is kind of just better right now. And that is something that they could try to do. Jhin going to get banned out. So that does mean we are going to have Laud kind of relegated to a lower tier AD carry, or at least one that is not kind of these traditional supportive role AD carries.
Everyone seems to love playing the utility marksman, I believe, in the bot lane. Ashe, Jhin, Varus being the three obvious ones. We've seen a couple Sivir games, but no one really seems to like bringing it out. And to be fair, she is quite a bit riskier being short range. Either way, yeah, we'll see maybe a Caitlyn or Ezreal. Final ban comes through. It is Nautilus off the table as well, so 2 tank bans actually from Team Dignitas means Poppy, Sion, I guess, the last remaining tanks that are popular, or maybe we get like a Trundle or something else, and we'll have to see.
Trundle, if they want to go for that kind of split push style and have a better lane matchup for Zig, I think would be a strong option. If they are looking for straight up team fight, you can go something like Poppy. The front to back team fighting for Dignitas is already looking very strong though, with Cassiopeia, consistent backline damage. Maokai is the strongest front to back tank in my opinion. Oh.
Well, hovering things. We'll see what it ends up actually being.
Locked in, my mistake.
Worth noting, we have seen some people in solo queue play Cassiopeia as the bot lane role. Okay, it's not going to happen. He's picked Ezreal, but when we saw Vel'Koz, like Vel'Koz mid has some good matchups. We're going to ignore that, though. It's Ezreal for Laud.
I was also going to say, I've actually seen Vel'Koz support as an answer to the Malzahar. It's something that works well against Malzahar in mid lane, and you can kind of play it in that supportive role. It's not traditionally seen in LCS, obviously, but any of the kind of long-range poke mages who can consistently poke off Malzahar's shield with his passive can kind of have a nice little lane advantage there. Karma is another one who can do that just fine.
And Karma, it's going to be so a bit of extra shielding to help the team stay alive right here. Of course, you've got plenty of damage output with a Rengar and Ezreal and a Cassiopeia. A nice tank in the top lane for Someday and the Karma to round out the lineup. Phoenix1 needs themselves a top laner at this point, and looks like it will be Sion after all, so trying to match tank versus tank. And the Malzahar support will come in with most of the obvious answers being banned away already with the Zyra off the table. So it should be a pretty good support pickup for Adrian.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for the Sion. I mean, you did mention it, but I was kind of like, what are you talking about? When's the last time we've seen Sion in the LCS? Certainly not at all last year, I don't think. In EU LCS, I know it got played as support, like one game. That's the only time I can remember it in the last year between EU and NA. So this is actually pretty exciting, and Sion does have a lot of kind of roam potential on those early bases. You can do things like alt bot lane, alt in mid lane, and it works well, I think, very well with the Ashe. You can shoot down your arrows, Sion comes ulting in, you follow up with Malzahar ult.
Heck, a flash Malzahar is a guaranteed Sion connection.
Exactly, like CC from the Rise as well. So this is a team with a lot of CC. I think that Keen is going to have to play very carefully in the mid lane, because that is somewhere where you can make those easy rotations. And on the other side of things, Dignitas, their comp is looking strong. They have Karma for the speed ups. They have great front-to-back team fighting, as well as pick potential with that Rengar.
And we get to see Chaser in pretty high-profile Korean pickup. He's definitely one of the better LCK junglers we had seen overall. Had a bit of hype around him. Never quite the explosive season like someone such as Peanut, but we may see him do very well. The 2 high-profile Korean pickups here, Team Dignitas, Someday on Maokai, Chaser on Rengar. Those seem to be the ones to really watch for here in this game. And Nori, he's already made the name for himself. We know he's a good player, and he's up against Chaser, playing Kha'Zix himself. It's very fun that we get to see Rengar versus Kha'Zix repeatedly. That's just a nice lore matchup, and Nori hoping to play the Kha'Zix side of it well. So we get ourselves into the first game of this series. Team Dignitas making the 2017 North American LCS debut against the Phoenix1 lineup, who's already taken a 2-0 victory earlier this week.
Speak about Chaser a little bit more. Obviously, a lot of the hype rightfully around Someday, but Chaser is a guy who, as you said, did very well in the LCK. And in the last year, he wasn't as hyped up there. But 2 years ago, a lot of people were talking about Chaser as if he was the best jungler in the LCK. And this is someone who's looking to come around, have a resurgence. But we have a little bit of cheese being set up here in the bot lane. We'll see if Xpecial does fall into that trap.
Not quite as much.
Playing pretty safely, though.
You saw the trinket come down, exactly. And he's a good enough player to click it and know that Zig is the one who did it. Trinket wards specifically turn invisible much slower than Sightstone wards and conventional wards, so it's actually very easy to click and see who put it down. And he's like, okay, Zig roamed down here. We know there's at least 3 in that brush by that means, because of course the duo lane's there, and says, all right, you've got free reign topside if you want it, but no deep wards from Someday.
A nice little start here from Ryu. A lot of times I do see when you go with the mana crystal that they actually start with the straight health potions. You can have the extra health potion there. Obviously, it's a bit of more of an investment into that lane, and it could speak to the fact that he thinks the Cassiopeia Rise matchup can be pretty tough, and traditionally it is considered Cassiopeia favorite.
Yep.
Ooh, unlucky.
Oh, did I actually queue a little bit too early? Oh, I actually missed it. I was making sure my
Didn't
game
get enough
was synced up.
scrims in there.
Yeah. He's used to that 50, live ping, and that 0.05 seconds is what he missed by. Unlucky there. I don't know. It's just, it happens, whatever. We're going to see the jungle starts here. Both junglers starting on the top side, getting leashes from their top laners. Chaser doing quick blue into Gromp, and the Kazakhs, meanwhile, from Inori running all the way down to the bottom side of the map. He's going to grab buff to probably Scuttlecrab. It's going to be up in time. Should be.
Could be very interested to track this top lane matchup a little bit, though, because there is, even though Sion, yes, it's a tank, tank battles, wet noodles, ha ha ha, blah, blah, blah. There is actually a fair bit of mastery in this champion, even just in canceling your Qs early, because the range actually goes a little bit further than is indicated. So skilled Sion players can actually catch people with the edge of their Q much more often than expected. And this champion can actually do quite a bit of damage and does have some chase down potential if you can catch someone with the Q. You have the E slow follow up, and you can actually kind of duel people out of lane sometimes.
And Zig's actually gone for a slightly aggressive mastery build here. It's 12-0-18, and he actually got the first blood mastery, I believe it's called, where your first basic attack against a champion deals some bonus damage once every like 12-15 seconds, and he's triggering it on Someday. He got a decent chunk out. He's actually forced some of the potion usages already, so a fair bit of work being done by Zig. We'll see how much more he can get, but he's got the early push, but there's plenty of minions left for Someday to kill. Either way, neither jungler's on the side of the map, so it won't be much of a gank yet.
Yeah, certainly not. And they did see Someday place his Trinket Ward, I do believe, in the river. So that is something that is going to be there. And when you are having these slow pushes, you do always have to be somewhat wary of where the other jungler could be. And as Someday moves forward, you can see Zig is kind of respecting the fact that Chaser could have done a weird jungle path and could be up here. So you want to really kind of shove it all the way to the turret or hold it closer to your turret. But now that they spot out Rengar, this is going to give them the freedom to do that.
Yeah, and you can count kind of the CS and look at Chaser being level 4 and say, I'm pretty sure I know all the camps that you did, especially with that mark being 19. It's like, yeah, that's all of Krugs, that's almost all of Raptors, a full clear of the jungle, and it's a half-level lead right now for Team Dignitas' jungler. Inori slightly behind, and of course, there's no Krugs to poach. And again, if you count and you press the scoreboard, you almost know better.
Yeah, this is actually something, Dig.
Flash. Flash chase, Q's gonna land, one more shot will do it! Lands the shot over the wall, Ryu with the first blood on Keen at 4 minutes!
Counter matchups be damned. Ryu gets the solo kill so early on, and that is just brutal for Keen. It's gonna put him really far behind.
And he's already gotten the tier, like he took an early back, came back to lane and said, I'll kill you right away, and it's Keen trying to catch back up. Chaser gets to absorb lots of XP, and you can see he's not making it free, he's gonna take all that farm.
Oh, and it's just a greedy back, and Ryu actually checks it. He's gonna find him. He knows he has the flash to follow, lands all the Qs, and Keen just gets popped.
I mean, yeah, like Ryu walked into him and Keen was like, all right, I'll jump on you, let's do this fight, and just loses it outright. So, hey, good stuff by Ryu either way. That said, look at the gold overall. You got a 400 gold first blood, and the gold's practically tied. You're seeing these matchups pretty top and jungle favored right now. You're seeing the gold differences.
Yeah, certainly. And in this bot lane, although it's looking pretty even now, you can see Adrian's Doom, Xpecial still does have a fair bit of mana, and this is something where it can be a tougher kind of lane matchup for Adrian because it's hard to really kind of get in and land your poke, land your damage against an Ezreal and a Karma, who can consistently kill off the Voidlings, poke you from out of your range.
It's worked okay for him. You got quick cooldown boots coming in for Ryu. Gonna give his Ghost and Flash nice short cooldowns, and he can just keep spamming, keep stacking the tier. Mana should not be an issue for him. He just wants to scale up into the game, and you can see Keen has to play pretty far back, pretty defensively. A minor freezing attempt where Ryu pulls the lane to his side. It means that Keen will have to overextend to go for farm a little bit. Another trade in. Someday, over the course of the shield, takes 0 damage from Zig, and he's up 10 CS.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's doing very well for himself, and Ryu, a player who played great yesterday too, and this is a guy who I think is overlooked a little bit as one of the imports, maybe not as hyped up as some of the other guys coming in, but he had a solid Worlds and is a player who really can take over. It'll be interesting to see him, on this new team. Can he really flourish? Because if Ryu's really dominating, this is yet another threat on P1, and they have quite a few of them.
I definitely agree, but there's threats on Team Dignitas making things look good in the laning phase. Again, despite the first blood, it's a gold lead for Team Dignitas. Plus 300 in the jungle, plus 300 almost in the top lane. This is actually pretty big, as Someday and Chaser in their debut are actually early, to be fair, but outperforming their opponents by a significant margin. Chaser's already 6, and Nori just hit 5. Get ready for Rengar.
Yeah, and I mean, he's power farming, right? He's trying to get to that 6 as fast as possible, look for those ganks, and if you want to see these two guys pair up, they really could look to go top lane and put Zig very far behind, because Someday's already doing very well on his own. Maokai has incredible gank assist. That is somewhere you can go. Keen, another one he could look to kind of help out, because Ryu has no flash, and if you could land that Bola as well as the Cassiopeia ult, it's probably going to be a dead rise.
Scary things to look out for then right now, and Nori going to get his second round of buffs. His red respawns, similar for the blue of Chaser. Likely to hand that one over to Keen, and Nori waits for the smite, gets it taken down, and we'll see if it gets donated or if Chaser really just wants all of the gold. Quick hot shot from Arrow says yes, he is in this side of the map. That's one of the nice things about Ashe, is it really helps you track assassin junglers. No surprise on the blue buff, the game even tells you when it's coming up, so make sure he hawk shots at the right time and says yes, that is where he is. Watch out top side of the map.
And obviously Dignitas is going to find out exactly where Nori is, as they're going to see the blue buff donated over to Ryu, so good tracking to be had for both junglers.
Ryu looking to maybe stop some recalls. Keen back onto his side of the fountain, his side of the lane. He's going to recall back. Ryu building towards the catalyst to go towards what I assume to be Rod of Ages. Negatron picked up now for Keen. Arrow's going to land. Good flash by Xpecial. If that connects, he was probably going to die. And hits the button in time, but that is still a longer cooldown for Xpecial. It's advantage P1.
Yeah, definitely an advantage for them, but that was really fast reactions there from Xpecial. I think most players would have died in that situation.
Yeah, just sometimes you're just not ready for it, and it just catches you unaware, and you don't make the play happen. Ryu into the jungle, trying to carry Phoenix1, kind of by himself. Look at that. Chaser pushed off his own red buff. It's going to reset, and that's several seconds lost. Chaser gonna have to recall, heal, get back into the jungle.
Yeah, and Nori is 6 now. He knows his counterpart just got pushed back. He could look to invade, take away this red buff, and perhaps even look bot lane where they know Xpecial has no flash. And Adrian is gonna be 6 here pretty soon, so there are some options here for Nori. We'll have to find out where he's gonna go. You can see Chaser is heading towards bot lane. I think he's expecting them to look for that dive on the flashless Xpecial.
Yeah, potentially so. We'll see what happens. We know Arrow has no ulti. Adrian not yet level 6, but Nori, thankfully for him, is on this side of the map, but doesn't know exactly that Chaser is there. He'll realize, he hasn't checked his red buff yet. That's maybe a little bit curious. That ward just spots Chaser, so now they know what's going on. I don't know if the Kha'Zix himself was seen yet, but they do know what's up with Chaser. And Nori hoping that the Rengar face checks into his own red buff. Ryu coming down as well.
So far, though, Chaser is actually giving him a lot of respect. He's just assuming that it's gone. They have spotted him out on this ward now. Are they going to go for it?
Warp comes in. Where do you even go? Nowhere! It's Ryu and Nori making it happen.
They want
and
the
now
dive.
The bot lane's in danger. Can someday teleport? It's not likely to happen. Onto Lotta. Double kill for Nori. No TP stop. It's going to be Xpecial. That's a triple, but here comes the re-engage. And Nori goes down, and Keen wants more damage. Sig face plants in a wall. Probably should have canceled the teleport. Ends up being a double kill for Someday, but advantage P1, 3-2 overall.
And my mistake there, Someday does come through. It actually ends up working out very well. Arrow has his ultimate available, but with the arrival of Keen, him flashing in, it worked out very well. Someday TPing down, and they do make it 2 for 2 at least under the turret. But still, such a nice play here. Great setup. They have him warded out. Full commitment to it. Go right around. No chance for Chaser. And then they look to execute on the dive. Malzahar opens up with that passive on him. Even eats the first turret shot, which is that much better. Xpecial gets cleaned up, but he did land the root on Nori. They're able to follow up as Keen flashes in. Zig gets caught out here.
Yeah.
Still a nice play overall for P1. It was 3 for 2.
Yeah, long term it was an advantage, though maybe bit off a bit more than they wanted, because the actual turret dive itself was a 2 for 2, and yeah, maybe that could be played a bit differently, but still advantage.
And I mean, honestly, I think Zig could have maybe just stayed top lane and kept pushing, because he didn't really contribute to anything there. He was obviously hoping that the ensuing fight would have gone heavily their way, that they would have been able to pick up more kills. But in retrospect, had he stayed top lane, it might have worked out even better for him.
Yeah. Always hard to make that call live in the game. If you ever turn that fight around, you're like, why wasn't Zig there?
Exactly.
What an idiot. And you know, again, smart to be part of your team. Either way, Nori 3-1. Got some help from his team. Ryu's mid pressure's been huge. And Nori finds Chaser. Look at the damage output. Quick heal, jump over the wall. And Nori's here, and he's going to take him out. And the matchup is snowballing. Kha'Zix here to get even further revenge on the Rengar, taking more than his eye.
Yeah, 4-1 now for Nori, and he is just been on a tear to start off this NALCS season, looking so good. Chaser, funny enough, is still up a level because of all his power farming, but Nori is going to be terrifying.
Definitely is. 4-1. He's even got the Hunter's Potion, so he has infinite health and mana for the entirety of his jungle career. It's, yeah.
Infinite.
I mean, essentially, right? Every time you kill a camp, you get a bunch back, and it stays forever. So the Nori will have supreme uptime, and we'll hope to continue pushing things forward. But you've still got to say, this is a 100 gold difference game. You've got a 26 minion lead in the top lane, and Chaser, I think, still going to be in a pretty good gold-wise spot against the Nori in that jungle role.
Yeah, I mean, Someday is up 1,100 gold in the top lane. He gets a double kill in the bot lane. He was already winning the lane. He's up 20 CS, and even in this tank versus tank matchup, he is really showing his mastery. And the pick ban, you have to say, has been working out. To go for the Scion, and he hasn't looked completely comfortable on it so far.
Yeah, not exactly. He's doing the best he can, but I mean, who, for what it's worth, like, who would beat Someday in lane in this matchup? Like, pick a player that exists in League of Legends. Like, take Marin. Someday probably still wins to a certain extent. So.
Yeah, but I think you could also go Trundle, right?
Of course.
There's like other options that you can
right.
do, and it was something that he picked into.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ryu is moving down. He's looking for the ultimate.
And Team Dignitas
here.
In some danger. Arrow flashes away. Okay. Law done at 1/3 health, and that's going to be the retreat. Not a ton of important summoner spells burn. Ryu did get rid of his Ghost, and Adrian burned Flash, and I guess they denied a wave under the turret.
Yeah, they get Laud's Flash there too, so they can look to come back once more. Adrian still has his ultimate available. That arrow is going to be up relatively soon, and Ryu has really been doing well this game. Has been a catalyst to a lot of the good plays that Nori has been able to set up. He's been roaming with him. He pushed Chaser out of the jungle earlier, kind of allowing Nori to set up for some of these kills. And
yeah,
those guys are looking like an incredible duo right now.
Ryu looks super duper sharp, and Nori's just been smart to capitalize on the openings he's gotten. I gotta say, it's been low risk, high reward plays for the Phoenix1 mid jungle duo. They definitely look great right here. Keen keeping up in farm, just hasn't been as quick to roam as Ryu has. Ryu's done some really good things here. Quick red buff take, and Nori's going to continue to grab more of the jungle away. Of course, he knows Chaser's red buff timer. Looks like Ryu is going to be pretty safe to take his own blue. Running out of mana, but looks like he'll be just barely okay. Adrian's going to help. Good guy, Adrian.
Yeah, we'll eventually get that. That was a struggle. That last auto attack coming in made me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, right. Like, well, he was not terrible at Malzahar, but not what you really wanted, absolutely.
No, certainly not.
All right, well, Chaser was able to safely grab his own red buff. The amount of pressure seems to have waned here for Phoenix1, and they're not able to get into his jungle anymore. Bit of attempted damage, not really coming out from Adrian, as they're going to fight over control ward control, and good job, Chaser. You got it.
And while P1 has been doing very well, gold is almost dead even. Laud has been going a great scaling build. He's going into the Triforce. His Cull is stacking away. His Tyr is stacking away. Maokai, I say, outscales in the top lane. Keen is going to be extremely powerful in the Cassiopeia and team fights. So Dignitas is by no means out of this, but P1 wants to continue pushing that advantage and really kind of get something more for what they have earned.
They can get a fair bit in the bot lane. Turret finally going below half HP.
It's coming down.
Yeah, still a good number of hits coming through. It's worth pointing out that Someday has brought top lane outer to about 2/3 himself, so not as injured as Phoenix1 has done to bot lane outer, but actually have Dignitas, Team Dignitas I should say, has created some pressure up there, and one proper roam could fell that structure. Once again, the roam down for Phoenix1, and Nori and Ryu going to kill off the control ward, and their own will reveal this trinket, and that's probably too much vision to be able to make the dive safely, so back they go to mid for control, but next time there won't be vision in the way.
Yeah, Someday was even kind of starting his base there. It looked like he was getting ready to base and TP'd in if he needed to, but does see the player show up, so he is just going to elect to stay in lane.
It's actually interesting watching Zig in this match, of course. He's going Courage the Colossus here on Scion, which unless he lands the charged Q skill shot, he doesn't trigger it in a laning phase matchup. Turret will be going down, nicely played. Enough pressure was there, and Nori revisits the lane again and again, and this time a 1,000 gold surge puts Phoenix1 in a pretty moderate lead.
Yeah, they're finally starting to kind of get the benefits of that bot lane advantage that they had, of the jungle advantage that they had, those kills on a Nori, and are really looking to kind of get more work done there. And now this is where it can really start to get tough for Keen, I think, because you're going to see Arrow rotating to the mid lane. You're going to have Malzahar there with his ultimate. You're going to have the Ashe Arrow you already have locked down from Ryu. And there's a lot of opportunity here to be able to catch Keen out. And if any of that CC gets overlapped, he can get taken down.
Right, and even though he does have Cleanse and you can get out of a Rune Prison or an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, you can't do it to Malzahar ultimate, and you can't do it to 700 damage from Nori in a second. You can't cleanse death. So you've got to be a little bit afraid of what P1 can do to this lane. With bot dead, you will see them. You can see the movement on the map right now. There's Ashe, there's Malzahar on the minimap heading towards this mid lane. And it's also kind of just worth looking at Adrian and seeing where he puts the wards down. Now he's not tethered to keeping the bot lane controlled. Now he's warding for the next major objective. Ocean Drake's in 45. It may still be bot side, but it might be mid-outer. We got to see.
Yeah, and just look at them stacking up here in the mid lane. They're looking to make something happen. Will they be able to pull the trigger? Not just yet. So, Ocean Dragon going to be coming up here pretty soon, and P1, you know, they haven't been able to really kind of crack the game wide open, but they'd love to grab another dragon, start to continue to work on those advantages. They got the early Mountain Dragon, and that is going to be able to be pretty helpful. I would say that Ocean Dragon is not as impactful 17, 18 minutes into the game. It is still obviously very nice, but you really love to get those early in the game for laning phase.
Absolutely agree. It's not my favorite mid-game Drake, but we'll see what they can get for this one. It is alive, and looks like there's a lot of red icons on that side of the map. Zig is happy to just have Someday chill. And if he can stay in range, he can always channel Q or even pop his ultimate to stop a teleport. Zig does have the power to prevent Someday from joining the team, and the Phoenix1 4v4 is much stronger than that of Team Dignitas. Ocean Drake does not deal AoE damage, makes it even better for Voidlings to tank, and that's a quick pickup there. Okay, bit more mana for Nori to have in his jungle roots, and back to the mid lane they go, and look at all this pressure. Look how far back Law never has to play. This turret is getting whittled down pretty low.
It certainly is. It's down to about a third HP there, and P1 is really playing to their advantage as well, to your point. You know, Zig, he's worth much less in a team fight right now than Maokai, so he can just stay up there, and sure, some days ahead, but he's not ahead enough to just randomly solo kill a tank Scion. So that's one of the problems of playing these tank champions. If you get a huge gold lead, you're very effective in team fights, but it doesn't really have as big of a difference in a 1v1.
Right. There's more you have to do in order to use your advantage. If you're ahead Fiora versus Riven, you just solo kill the Fiora and all is well. And it doesn't happen here. So more that somebody has to do to make this carry really happen. They did want to pick a Maokai. They wanted to give him the considered best champion that was left up in the draft.
And that also does show that they have a lot of faith in their whole team, right? They're not trying to play the kind of old Apex Ray 1v9 type style where everything is funneled into the top lane. And the fact is that Maokai is a fantastic meta top laner. Putting Someday on this champion is a good choice as long as the rest of your team can contribute. And they obviously have the faith that they can.
And of course, this game is very close. 1,300 gold difference, not a gigantic lead to be certain of this one. The double Drake certainly helps, and in fact, that second Mountain Drake being next up in 5 minutes will be really good. If P1 keeps the lead, they can shut this game down pretty quickly. No one's gonna get ripped throughout this game. Mid lane outer will fall. Enough damage comes through from Arrow. Adrian helps a bit, and Phoenix1 now 2-0 in turrets, 2-0 in Drakes. The only kills they've given up were part of a tower dive. Team Dignitas, despite the first pick Rengar from Chaser, have been unable to make a single aggressive move themselves.
Yeah, I don't even know if Chaser has ulted this game.
He did, trying to run away when he died in his own jungle.
Okay, so I mean, he has yet to really have the confidence to make an aggressive move, and I'm surprised that he hasn't at least tried to do something top lane or mid lane. You know, I understand bot lane would have been kind of hard to gank for with the Ezreal and the Karma. Maybe they don't have the best gank assist, and you don't want to fight into a Malzahar, but still, you would expect him to be looking to make something happen. But for now, they've been very happy to just farm it away, and I'll be interested to see what P1's next move is. Do they go top lane and try to force down that last outer? Because Maokai, while he is strong, he's not going to hold up against a 3-4 man squad.
Yeah, he's not that durable just yet, although I know in one of the earlier commentaries, I think it was Jat, talking about the impressive farm that Lorla was getting over 10 CS a minute in his top lane matchup. Well, Somebody's in that same boat right there. Ton of farm. 210 at the 20-minute mark is definitely a quick clip. Arrow and Ryu in the exact same boat there, where they're getting plenty of gold as well. The minions are dropping left and right. Question is, though, what else can you kill aside from that? 2,000 gold difference here as Phoenix1 are sending lots of resources topside. Mountain Drake still not for another 3 or so minutes, means only one objective left to play for as Arrow holds the mid lane.
Yeah, and Arrow is just going to be farming that up, and will eventually have to probably go bot side and collect that wave. That is going to be pushing, I think, towards his turret, and at the same time, it's pretty even, actually, so you do not have to. Either way, we have had a lot of very, very powerful Maokai games. We had Lorlo get a player of the game on Maokai. Zig yesterday actually had a player of the game on Maokai. We've been having this champion just be so effective, and it has drawn some bans, but it has been one of the champions that's really getting picked much more than it is getting banned, although it is kind of agreed upon that it is really king in the top lane.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested to see if and when people have the confidence to start bringing out picks like Fiora more against it.
We'll see if it comes through. Keen played the wave clear duty, and it's still Phoenix1 grouping up in this side of the map. Arrow once again scouts the top side and sees if anyone's in the jungle. Sees, yes, they are. Is going for the more utility Ashe build, by the way. Essence Reaver Hurricane means lots of hawk shots, lots of cooldowns to throw out, and we'll continue to see more of that happen as time goes on. Phoenix1 have removed all of the wards from the river as well. There's one more in this jungle they can kill off. They actually see that Rengar's waiting in the wings, and no risk still.
Yeah, both of these AD carries are at a very strong point in the game. 2 completed items. Obviously, Laud would love to kind of finish that transformation on his Muramana to be able to be kind of at his peak power for Ezreal. And that may be where Dignitas looks to try to start fighting, because they have 2 items on Someday, they have 2 items on their mid laner, 2 items on their AD, and they have really farmed it out. They know they're close as far as gold goes, and these are big power spikes for them.
Yep. Muramana just turned over about 5 seconds after you mentioned that he wanted it. The Trinity Force, the cooldown boots are in. This is the biggest, I would say, power spike available for an Ezreal. This is the highest the curve goes for him, and then it's going to get worse over time as Arrow goes towards an Infinity Edge later on in this one. Zig running for dear life. Yep, Someday's getting plenty of damage on him. Another root is in. Thankfully, there's no turret to block, and ooh, with the Q blocks some of that. Now over with the Satchel Plant. Phoenix1 know they've gotten rid of the wards, but look at that. Laud says, hey, I see what's going on. Also, Chase has popped his ulti. He knows someone's around, sees Inori, and look at the damage up, but can he heal enough? Inori flashes away, but that is Summoner down for Inori.
Oh, that was very close to being a disaster for P1 as Adrian almost got sniped out by the Baron after Laud was able to tag him with the ultimate, and then Ryu was obviously, he's in mid lane. They're trying to 3-minute. It's pretty risky. Could have been big if they got it, but it seemed like the Voidlings weren't able to tank much. Yeah,
they got popped pretty quickly, it felt like, and now we see Team Dignitas finally with the tempo lead. They're in the mid lane first, and that turret down to 1/5. Finally, an aggressive move allowed the, I don't want to say misstep, the risk taken by Phoenix1 does not pay off, and suddenly Team Dignitas now with the pressure. See how much more can happen.
And that pressure could net them their first dragon, right? It's another Mountain Drake on the table, which they would love to grab, keep the dragons rolling, unlock the Baron even further. With double Mountain, you can really kill that so fast, especially with champions like the Malzahar and the Kazakhs.
This is going to be the team fight setup. Some days in the front line, Ryu waiting around the wings, 5,000 health on the Drake. This will be the team fight.
He's kind of low.
It's going to set up the timing. Still waiting, back and forth. Laud going for poke, Adrian the same, Voidlings back and forth. Team Dignitas could just take mid. Instead, they really want to fight for this. Someday can finally use his gold lead and play in the front line. 3,000 health left on the Drake. They're going to go for the smite fight. Goes over to the blue team. Chaser grabs it. Someday in the front line, dropped down to half, though. Ryu has good damage up here on this rise. Arrow's going to go in. It's going to get field gold. Zig misses as well. Goes for the stun. And Laud kills off Ryu. Someday still taking the front lines. Inori has no way out, and it's 2-0 for Team Dignitas. Chaser not going to land the root, but still going to get the damage. And now it's Zig dropping 3 kills now for Team Dignitas, and they've got control, and they can take down mid.
Just as we said, Dig hits their power spikes. 2 items completed for all their big players. They get the dragon as Chaser wins the smite fight. They crush the team fight, and they are heading for Baron to crack this game wide open.
Ooh, looking for the even riskier play, but it could be great. 15 seconds still on this fight for Chaser.
This is just gone.
I think it is just gone. Very little chance of anything stealing. Volley's not in range. That's going to be the Baron. Nashor picked up for Team Dignitas. And off an early deficit, win a team fight and take a lot, and now it's a 1,000 gold lead.
That just felt so forced for Phoenix1. They really wanted to fight that. Their jungler was a little bit chunked out. The mid lane was pushing against them. Dignitas had hit all their power spikes, had the stronger team fight in my opinion, and it shows up big time.
That's huge. The Baron minion is going to do enough damage now that the champion's recall. Nope, just kidding. Arrow shows up, and keeps the turret alive just for now, but it's okay. Team Dignitas wanted to play the long con. They'll fight it again later.
And here it is again once more. Inori felt pretty good to go for this as Kha'Zix with the Q plus Smite generally can do that, but Someday was just so strong in the front line, so hard to get through. The arrow gets flashed over, the rest of the team dodges it. Zig is in the back line, and look at all the damage being pumped into Someday. They can't take him down. The team collapses completely here for P1 as their front line is just not going to hold up nearly as long as Someday is.
And you had mentioned actually that they were over-eager. Realize that during the first Drake kerfuffle or whatever, Someday popped his ultimate, and it was channeled and only lasted 20 seconds. They had 5 seconds left in that duration. Wait literally 5 seconds, Someday cannot ult in the fight. The entire reason Maokai is so tanky would have been on cooldown. Pull the trigger too early, they can't kill him off.
Plus, I mean, it's committing your Ashe arrow and your Malzahar ultimate both to try to kill off the Fed tank, right? Both of those are used on Maokai. When X Special has a lot of shielding, which adds even more tankiness to that Maokai. His ultimate's still up, so I do think it was definitely a mistake from P1, and they're going to be regretting that one big time as they're now behind.
They are now behind, but it's only as much as Team Dignitas was behind before, and if Team Dignitas could have made that comeback, Phoenix1 certainly could as well. Top lane Outer had stayed alive. The push wasn't completed from Team Dignitas, and top lane Outer will be killed off for Phoenix1. They finally complete that third Outer turret kill and get a bit more gold for themselves. That said, it's a bit of a race because Team Dignitas also already down on the bot side. They've taken the identical mirrored turret as well and are ready to keep pushing. And in fact, no one's here to defend. This should be, I think, a 2-for-1 in turrets, as there's not enough of Phoenix1 to defend this. And that will be a 2-to-1 turret trade. Gold lead grows to 3,000.
And they can even go straight to mid lane here. They still have the Baron buff. Top lane turret goes down as well there from Someday. So Dignitas making the rotations, cleaning up so much of the gold off the map that P1 already had taken earlier in the game. And that gold lead really does start to balloon.
Yeah, I believe they've taken actually 4 turrets during the duration of Baron, as mid-outer wasn't yet dead when they had grabbed it. Now to mid-tier 2, looking to make that 5 turrets during a Baron buff, just really playing it appropriately. Someday split the top lane. He's back to mid for the impending team fight, and you can see Phoenix1 having to play defensively, not able to go for much, but this turret down to 1/3 HP, really Laud whittling it down properly.
And I like the fact that Laud grabbed a QSS, giving respect to the pick potential here. He's the guy who has to be kind of up there sieging, poking at the turret, and having that QSS means even if he gets like flash ulted or whatever, he gets flash rooted by Ryu, he can kind of get out of there.
Definitely the case, and there we go, turret number 5, gold lead up to 4,500. Team Dignitas now with plenty in their pockets. About 2K per person, probably should recall and actually spend the money lead they've got. If they actually fought item for item, Phoenix1 actually has more in their inventory just for now. Quick clear of the Krugs, Inori tries to stay relevant in this game, but is a level behind Chaser despite his incredibly strong start.
Yeah.
As Keen moves toward the Void Staff and is really quite big this game.
This is one of the things that sometimes junglers do kind of complain about. The fact that sometimes kind of just doing nothing and power farming is actually more effective than going for the kills, even when it does work out, because the fact is, Chaser, yeah, he didn't have a great start, but he was so far ahead in the early CS that even when Inori had 4 kills, Chaser was up a level. So that's one of the things. He played the kind of more moderate approach, he played the safe approach, he allowed their comp to scale up, and it really paid off when P1 kind of took that team fight.
And we'll see if the next team fight continues to go the way it did before. We're gonna have mirrored Drakes right here with Dignitas having the map control. You expect this Ocean to drop in for them, and they're all going to have the same buffs overall here. 50 seconds to go till that one spawns. Of course, the Baron buff has timed out, but the end result has already happened. It's that 4,000 gold lead here. Team Dignitas more in their coffers, more in their inventories. Ryu looking for the play, actually, trying to get onto Someday, but yeah, he's not going to get much.
Got the wave, freak.
He got
Small
the wave.
Victories.
Buys a little bit of time. You can see that gold graph, exactly what this game has looked like. Moderate early leads turned around by one big team fight into Baron, into several turrets.
And this has been something that we have seen before, obviously, even just this weekend. You know, earlier today, Piglet playing Twitch, playing late game comp. They have Orianna Twitch, they scale late game. You get to the point where your team fighting is more powerful. Early leads don't always net you victories.
You guys got to push those the rest of the way through, especially when you've got comp mismatches, such as a much better top lane tank, a much better team fighting tank at the very least. One with the gold lead, a player of the caliber of Someday, and some misplays as well. So there we go, Ocean Drake not going to be an issue at all. Lots of damage coming through, not even a problem. Smite not needed. Chaser equalizes the overall Drake score now, Mountain and Ocean each. And now we'll see what breaks the tie. Baron Nash are only 1.5 away, means There's going to be more that Team Dignitas wants to control. Top side of the map's going to be important. We'll see them move their wards over soon.
That certainly is. And with Chaser going very tanky himself, there's like a lot of items that these guys need to pick up before they can kind of deal with this front line, right?
Yeah.
Rio needs to complete his Void Staff. Arrow does have Armor Pen, but he doesn't have his crit, right? He doesn't have his IE. He doesn't have Lifesteal to kind of deal with some of this as well. So there's a long way to go, I feel, before they can really start properly dealing with this. But that said, if it does start to go super late and we see Adrian starting to complete more items, if he can get to his Leandries and stuff, he can really start to help punch through that front line too.
Yeah, ooh, and Arrow actually going for a risk-averse build. You mentioned maybe he needs a bit more crit to get some damage out, but goes Quicksilver Sash instead. Afraid of, I guess, the roots and the flanks from Someday, maybe a chance ulti from Keen, but that could have been a Zeal, and that could have been a significant damage bump, or a BF sword going towards that Infinity Edge.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, they may be saying, hey, we just need to stay alive and get the damage out because Adrian is going to add that extra DPS with the Malzahar to get you through that front line. This could be a conscious decision. We'll see if they're ever able to actually crack this front line in these team fights, though.
Blue Elixir chugged for Adrian. Didn't want to forget it during the team fight, but he's going to lose some of the duration because nothing was dealt during that time. However, the red buff does plenty. It pokes the third of Arrow's health bar off just from the Mystic Shot. Trinity Force definitely a nice thing. Mercurial Scimitar all the way finished now for Lot. Pretty gold efficient when you've already got the Quicksilver Sash, so it's kind of the right choice. They need to go back and forth, but it's really just Team Dignitas playing for the control. If you look at their vision, they've got blue wards scattered all throughout this area, and there's not a lot really that Phoenix1 can see. Yeah, see, that's the Team Dignitas view. It's much darker for the Phoenix1 view right now.
They have things everywhere, and this Baron is going to die so fast. They do have the mountain, has been spotted out. Will they go for the finish here?
Knocked up by some time. Zig is around on one side. A lot of bit exposed. Special kind of trying to zone out two of the melees of Phoenix1, but there could be a fight. Looks for the play. Someday tanks it, gets stunned, and takes all the ultis, and they might just take him down. But Lot first picks off Adrian, and Someday healing all the way back up already. Too many heals, and the rest of the fight's going to go even better, I think, for Team Dignitas. Zig rooted up, running, can't go far, goes down. It's 2-0. Another team fight win for Team Dignitas, and back they go to the Baron.
Yeah, and they just cannot punch through Someday. He is way too tanky. They commit so much to him. Oh! Chaser gets a GA pop. Oh, and Nori, though,
has to run away from Lod. The assassin actually forced to run for the marksman there. What even is 2017? Blue team takes down Baron Nashor. Chaser secures, and Team Dignitas even farther ahead, 6,000.
Yeah, they're up a lot, and that was... I mean, it's tough to think. How do you kill this guy? They had a pretty nice setup. Zig comes in. I actually think Zig did a great job here zoning out most of the damage. And it looked like Someday was going to be able to get taken out. But then he goes in. Look at all the shields from Courage of Colossus, from Xpecial, the Redemption lands. He heals up to full during this fight with his passive.
Yep.
What even is that? He's full health.
He's full health. Well, you know that trees need water to flourish. Apparently the blood is... good fertilizer as well.
They're in the river.
Nitrates are there. It's perfect. Just his natural habitat, really. I don't know. Floodplains for some reason working well for him. And yeah, looks good. Team Dignitas now really feeling great about this one. And you saw there's some decent damage coming out, but Ryu got killed so early. Only 900 from that fight is remarkably low. Adrian as well. Just his damage is going onto a tank. It's just not enough being done here.
Yeah, and Ryu, they can just dive forward onto him, because their front line is so tanky that they don't really have to care too much about it. You know, Someday flashing forward into the team, Chaser flying forward into the team. They force Arrow out, they force Ryu out, and that is the only way you kill those tanks. Kha'Zix does not burst down a tank. No. Support Malzahar, while he can hold him there for you, does not kill the tank. And neither does Sion, so that's the tough part for them now.
And it's rough for Nori. The root lands, turns invisible in time, and jumps to the wall to get away from Chaser, but really low on HP, under 100. Slinks away. Lod's ulti already down, so they're not going to find that just yet, but close call.
Yeah, thank goodness for Hex Drinker if you're a Nori, and down 2 levels now, and really having a tough time getting involved in these team fights as Dignitas is just grouped up and peaceful damage build. Dignitas going to be pushing in. They want the turret.
And it's going to be theirs. Easy peasy. The lemons are squeezing, and we're going to see more coming in here. 2-kill lead, but the gold is much better. And we look for the flank. They look for Zig. He's taking up what he can, but Someday just way more durable. Lod is now on a killing spree, taking down the opposing tank. Chaser cutting back a bit, but playing this appropriately. He's invisible for now, and can't quite find more to do. Sion passive drops all the way out, and Team Dignitas 5v4 for 35 seconds, easy inhibitor.
Yeah, they make the smart play. Zig goes for the flank. It's a desperation move, but Dignitas just collapses on him, takes out the tank first, and then, okay, it's caught!
They get the one pick. Nice ulti in. The arrow's gonna land, but there's no follow-up for Special. Even though he shot his own name, it just meant nothing there. And it's okay, a 4v4 on the map. That's nice. It's enough, though, to force Team Dignitas to recall away.
Lane's gone, though.
Just kidding. They're gonna go down to the mid lane. They're still too durable. Enough health for them. The Ocean Drake keeps them topped off, and that is now 2 inhibitors down. Now they can recall safely.
Yeah, and they are going to be able to walk out. Zig is coming back up. They know his TP's on cooldown, so there's no worries there. It's a level 18 someday to the level 15 Zig, and this Maokai has just been insane for Dignitas this game.
Looking good. Really, really looking good now. Team Dignitas 9,000 gold up. Phoenix1 looking for maybe a bit of a play, trying to rush in past the wards and jump right onto this Elder Dragon, hoping to rush it down before Someday can arrive. But there's a ward put down, and they've got to be so afraid of this. Will they stay on Drake? That answer's no. They go for Someday, good chunk of damage. He can pop his ulti, but he's back to full HP thanks to shields. They're trying to burn him down. Arrows kiting for dear life, and they pop the Guardian Angel. So phase 1 is done. Quick cleanse out from Keen, and here he goes. Looks for Adrian. Goodbye to Adrian, but they still get the kill on a Someday. That's a good trade, to be honest.
Ulti coming in.
Chaser, who can he find? Right now, it's going to be Ryu, the available target. He's going in. Misses the Q. A big double man stun. Chaser doesn't land the root either, but they're still looking for Zig, the tank, running back. On top of the ward is Team Dignitas. Bit of damage. Keen looks forward. Can't quite kill off the mage, and Chaser sweeps out the ward. 4v4, breathe the room, but not just yet. Chaser can land the E, gets slowed. Not gonna land the skill shot. Arrow's gotta be careful to jump in for Lod! Ooh, one hit away from getting the kill off. That was dangerously close, and the chase is on. Can't quite land the shot, though.
He's gonna have to jump out of this bush.
Flash, the push towards Ryu. Is the damage there? He's looking for it. Can't quite take him out either. And no, it's actually Lod who does make it happen. Arrow falls to Expecial. I should correct myself. And that means a power play. It's 4v3 on the map. Inori healthy. Make it 4v2. Keen wants more. Poison's up 1. Inori, are you gonna have the hero play, or are you gonna just wait a little bit longer? 4 alive. Someday does not have teleport when he respawns, but there's minions. It's basically a 7 versus 2 at this point. Now the big play to Ryu to save the game. They pick off Chaser. 1 left alive. It's still Keen. It's Expecial, and the Nexus goes down. Game 1 to Team Dignitas.
And what a game it was. P1, they got the early lead, but Dignitas was way too strong in the team fighting. They played to their win conditions, hit their power spikes, grouped up, and really, from there, took complete control.
Yeah, 1 death all game for Someday. Yeah, things are going to get brighter for Team Dignitas with a player like that on their roster. Honestly, winning in the laning phase doesn't mean you automatically kill the turret off, but he played the team fights very, very well, refused to die most of that time, and P1 just couldn't get through him.
And you have to say, I mean, this is with the early game jungle going pretty heavily over to Inori, right? What does this game look like if Chaser has a better game, if Chaser gets involved? Because he was pretty much non-existent for the first 15 or so minutes of the game on the Rengar, which is considered that S-tier jungle pick. And Inori had a good game, but they got outclassed in the team fighting, and I think they got outdrafted.
Yeah, sure. I mean, sample size of 1, we can, of course, see more happen. You're right about getting outdrafted as far as projecting Chaser as a player, death leader on his team, lowest kill participation. Certainly not a good scoreline to look at, but there's more to see. Some of that was Ryu winning in the mid lane. Yeah. And you can look at pros and cons of both sides, but I agree. Team fight execution in favor of Team Dignitas. That Maokai is certainly working really well for Someday. Even if he's not on a traditional hard carry, it still looked good. 1-0 Team Dignitas, still a best of 3. We might see more. So now let's check in with our analysts to see what Dash and Mark think of that.
Thank you very much, Freak. Dignitas with the comeback victory here. So no stranger to comeback victories here in week 1 of
a whole lot of them
of the LCS here in NA. But you know, for this roster that a lot of hype, was around coming in. Yeah, you bought into it. I've bought into it. I mean, you've got Someday in here for a discussion of best player in the league before the league even starts, and they start off their series with a victory. It didn't come incredibly easy, though. So let's kind of break it down. This early lead established by Phoenix1 off the back of Ryu and Inori.
Right, I think that's really an important thing to point out. I mean, it might look really bad for Chaser, like getting kind of controlled really hard in his jungle, but after that solo kill happened, that basically opened the entire jungle up because they totally lost mid control. So Ryu and Inori just keep invading him over and over. His team really can't come to collapse and help. And from there, I mean, P1 did a good job for most of that game, or the early part of that game, snowballing that lead. The dive in the bot lane wasn't quite as clean as it could have been, but overall a good idea, and it looks like it's all coming together really well. But then the later the game gets, the worse it looks for how their team comp overall works.
Yep. Dragon fight, 25 minutes in. This is where Dignitas turns it all around on the back of Someday. Very stellar play out of him in this fight.
Yeah, just watch Someday. I mean, they're contesting the Dragon. It's going to be a little slow to start here, and ultimately, both junglers are going to kind of go for this at the last possible second. And then after they get it here, nice smite, of course, by Chaser. They start backing off, and Someday takes about half his health, but once he dips into this bush, drops out of vision, he flashes and gets right onto Ryu, which sets up the follow-up from Keen. He gets the kill, and then Zig's on the back line, but now he's just running away. He used his Q, that's his only disruption ability, and after that, Someday, after taking a ton of damage, peels back onto him, sets the kill up to be on the other tank. So Someday carried this fight really hard in terms of setting up the first initial kill on the big carry for Phoenix1, tanking damage before ultimately going back and helping his backline. Amazing play.
Yeah.
On the flip side, what's so weird to me is when you look at the pick ban, Poppy was up. And like if you take the Poppy in that team fight and he gets on the back line kind of like the Scion did there, you get the knock up, you're pushing someone into a wall, you generally deal more damage, and it would have been a huge disruption that could maybe have turned it back, losing your mid laner at the beginning of a fight, very hard to win, but I don't understand why you would opt for the Scion.
Their pick of Scion is a little curious, as well as Dignitas's banning strategy in targeting the top lane with Shen and Nautilus in phase 2, but while Poppy is still up. So it didn't really seem on either end that these teams had a clear grasp on Champions Select, which after yesterday, Phoenix1 was looking very good in Champions Select.
Right, I don't think that the Champions Selects were horrible overall. Both these team comps are actually really good. The question is, what Poppy probably would have been better there.
Yes.
And then, of course, there was a heavy focus on trying to ban out some of the carries of Someday and limit him, as well as targeting some of the AD carries to get Arrow an advantage by having the only utility AD carry. Those are both fine ideas to me. The question, of course, is just the Poppy.
Right, and in that team fight specifically, I love the fact that Keen followed up so quickly on that flash route of Someday. And this is where a lot of people coming in were like, well, it's another mixed language team. How are they going to do? Well, guess what? That top three, that top triangle, they all speak Korean. So there was a very quick follow-up. Lauden, of course, Xpecial, have experience on teams with mixed language. And so far here in game 1, didn't seem to have too many issues with communication. Still many more games to come to determine that. Player of the game going to Someday this time around. A lot for that fight right there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's it. Without that fight, they don't get a Baron on the back end of it.
And right, it wasn't just like that was one great fight by Someday. The whole series, he was playing team fights amazingly. There was the one near Baron where he just, walks back to Baron at full health, basically. Like, he played most team fights immaculately as a tank, which is something that I think is a little underrated in how hard it is to play a tank correctly and knowing exactly when you should peel back and help your carries and when you should keep setting up their carries to be served up to your team. So he seems to understand his role extremely well, and I'm going to assume he can play the carry side extremely well because he is getting banned out already.
I was going to say, you have to make that assumption with the Fiora and the Camille bans coming out from red side for Phoenix1 in that first phase. But with Someday, the pressure's on, man.